because hey,
This meeting is being recorded.
like I say, if if your voice tone is bad and you're not communicating what it is that you want to get across, it's very, very important. So that's what I get from this statement.
Yeah, and that I'm sure that translates to anything, right? From kids to work to anything that you can think of when it comes to communication, right? Being able to, make sure that my words, if I'm trying to talk to you with my face, but I'm trying to say something nice, you're like, listen, that's not matching up with your whole body language. So,
because you can say, okay, I hear you. And then you can be like, oh, all right, I hear you. Like, I think the exact same thing, but you got two different things from it. So communication is body language and tone, and, all of that matters. And, you can't separate the two.
Yeah. So let's talk about how long you guys have been married. BG, how long have you been married?
Me and my wife just 7 years, May 2nd, 7 years.
Okay. Demario?
December will be 3 years.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Yep.
So a small bit of a gap between y'all two.
Yeah.
Demario, what made you feel like I am ready for this commitment when you married Jaleesa? Like, I'm ready. This is her. There's nobody else. I'm ready to jump. What made you feel like this was it for you?
I don't know. I hear people use that term, there's nobody else and ready so much. But honestly, I just felt like I felt comfortable with her. So I don't know if I was ready, but I know I wasn't ready to lose her. And I know I wasn't ready to stay as we were. So I know that it was another step that had to be walked into so I can see where we were going. So I think in the next step for me, because like I said, I'm a follower of God. So I understand, like, to me, the union of marriage is like the highest level of sanctity between two people. So I believe that we have been fairly good on my end, girlfriend and boyfriend. You know what I'm saying? So I felt like the only way we can get to the next level in our life and purpose, because I'm big on purpose, is for us to become one. And I believe that's what marriage does. It joins y'all and it commits y'all and it forces you to be in a pocket of, well, we're in this together and there's no way out. So that's why I say, I don't know if I was ever just saying, you know what, I'm ready.
Yeah.
But one thing I did say is, I believe you're the person who I'm supposed to travel my rest of my journey with in life. And I felt that quite some time before I actually asked her to marry me.
Yeah,
how long did you guys date before you got married?
I would say, don't get me wrong, because I'm bad with dates too. This is gonna kill me because she watching.
Oh, she gonna put it in the chat. She there like, hold on. You said what? No. she there.
But we did 3 years. Our story was kind of unconventional because I met her when both of our close friends were in a relationship and I wasn't looking for nothing.
Yeah.
And she wasn't either. So it was like, we honestly were friends before we got together. Like, I kind of see what kind of person she was without having the intention on being with her at all. Actually, when I first met her, I felt like she was a great person. And I had a homeboy who was like a great person who was ready for a relationship. And I was like, bro, you got to talk to her. Like, she is like amazing. I was in Atlanta and I was like, yeah, I ain't, because I don't foresee me for the next 10 years ever settling down. Like, I'm in my groove. Like, that's just where I was in life. And that's when I have to say that I believe in purpose on such a big level, because nothing about us was planned, but it all went smooth. You know what I'm saying? And I think that was just God guiding our steps to where we are now.
Yeah. What about you, BG? Like, when did you know that you were ready to take that next step with TJ?
Well, I think I took a little bit longer than most men. Well, I wouldn't know what the number is, but we were together for 5 years before we got married. And we got with each other a little bit, I won't say late in life, I mean, because we're not old, but we got with each other a little bit later than a lot of people. Neither one of us were maybe looking for a relationship at the time. But like I said, it took us 5 years to get there. And what got me to that point was that our relationship was, the way, my perspective, our relationship was battle tested, because we went through a lot of ups and downs while we were dating. It wasn't just the honeymoon phase. It was honeymoon phase followed by, hard times, and then it get good again, and then hard times, and then it get good again. At times it could be, tumultuous. We broke up a lot of times. Right. But, I got to a point to where it's like, I'm with this woman. I see her character. I know who she is. And I just got to a point to where I'm just like, you know what? I think I have something good here, and I'm ready to take the next step. It wasn't like a specific event that happened, but like I say, our relationship was for sure battle tested, because like I said, I mean, we broke up 3 times that I can remember. 3 times that I can remember. So, we went through a lot while we were dating, but what really led me to that was the fact that it was really her character. And we have, the same outlook. We have the same values. And, it got me to that point, once we got there, to where we weren't, up and down, in and out all the time, to where I was just like, you know what, I'm ready to take the next step. Let's move forward. So like I said, it took us about 5 years to get there, but everybody got their own journey.
Yeah, everybody has their own story. I'm going to tell a story. If I can get my brother on here at some point. I just came back from Orlando. I was with my mom. I was with my brother. My brother got married at 50. You see what I'm saying? Like, this was the first time I knew his wife prior, but this was the first time. My family's in Milwaukee. And so, of course, I'm here in Dallas. And so I'm not there a lot, extended period of time. And this was the first time that I have spent time with them married. And the things that he told me at being 50 and waiting and priming and finances, and I'm going to get him on here at some point, but he's incredible. And so to your point, BG, I don't think there's an age, right? I think that younger us would have said that, you need to be married at 25, or, 30's pushing it. You know what I mean? 30 with the kids and married. You ain't married yet. We know how this go.
See, and Mario's better than me. See, he was using words like purpose and all that. My mind, I wasn't mature enough at that time to even be thinking about that.
Yeah.
I was thinking about other things. Like, he was ahead of me in the dating phase. I wasn't thinking about purpose until later.
Yeah.
I was kind of with that. So he's ahead of the game as far as I was. It took me, bumping my head a little bit, and then getting serious, and then life changing for me to get on the page that he was on early.
Yeah.
But see, I'm gonna say this. I don't want to make it seem like I just had this great map of life, because I think my value in dating was different. See, I felt like I'm never gonna be serious. So I probably had 3 girlfriends my whole life. Yeah. I talked to women, but I just never called you my girlfriend. I never did. See what I'm saying? So you see what I'm saying? Because I understand, like, a contract, that's a contract. So if you can't uphold the other end of a contract, and then what contract people have expectations. So I'm not saying I wasn't a knucklehead, because I definitely was. I told you when I met you, Lisa, I kind of was like, I'm not even ready for this, because I'm loving my life right now. You know what I'm saying? Black man in Atlanta, like, you know what I'm saying? Because
for sure.
So that's how I was. So I believe if I had been in a relationship, I definitely would have bumped. There's no chance that I could have been who I was when I started dating her. You know what I'm saying? Because at that point, I was just kind of like ready to do that. I had reached that stage. When you get to a man, you like, all right, I'm in the club. Okay. I don't have women. Okay. Like, what's, like, you know what I'm saying? What's next? And I want to say, she said we was dating 4 years before, so not 3. So
here you go. Oh, it was going to be corrected.
So, yeah,
okay. Yeah. It's going, listen, we don't forget dates and time. So I want to ask you guys, what is, and I'll go to you, BG. What is the worst piece of advice that you ever received prior to being married?
I was thinking about that, and the only thing that came to mind, and it was something that I just didn't agree with. I was talking to a guy, and he said that you should marry a woman that loves you more than you love her. Okay. Basically, marry somebody who loves you. That way you can have that security that she's not going anywhere, and you can gain control of the relationship. That's basically where the conversation was going. And that's just, I don't rock like that. I have no desire to control, I don't like the idea of, well, she loves me, so let me just go ahead and do this just because. Yeah. And that way I can have the security that I can control the situation because I know that I can control her. Like, that's not attractive to me. I'm not the kind of person who needs to control people. I just thought that was a terrible bit of advice. And, maybe, that's something that, somebody gave to him, but that was a terrible bit of advice to me. I just don't rock like that.
I got to interject really quick because on the female side, I was always taught, marry a guy that loves you way more than you, right? And so right. Sense of it is that if he loves you more than you love him, he's not going to go anywhere. He's going to treat you amazing. You won. God, that's the worst piece of advice.
Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. Like,
I didn't even think about it on y'all side. I thought that was just like a female mantra, right? Like my mom, my granny being like, listen, he got to like you more than you like him. Or he got to love you more than you love.
And it's a security issue.
Security.
That's all.
Yeah.
It's a security issue. It's you wanting to control it and you wanting to be like, oh, okay, well, I'm secure and this is not going anywhere. That's a security.
Yeah.
That's not me.
No, we don't like that, y'all. Nobody. That's not healthy at all. I thought that was it. Like, I'm going to like somebody or I'm going to date somebody who like me more than I like them. That's not well. That's not well at all. Demario, what is the worst piece of advice you received?
Happy wife, happy life. That's the worst advice. Because what it does is it put pressure on a man to fulfill a void of like emotion. But you're gonna be happy sometimes you're not gonna be happy. Sometimes you're gonna be pleased with me, sometimes you're not. Like, life is about sacrifice cycles and it's about compromise. So when you put on one spouse or one particular party that if she happy, then y'all good, then that's no way that can be true. That's too much pressure for you to be dealing with as one person and not controlling, because you're in control of your own happiness.
Yeah.
Because it's simply an emotion. But you hear that everywhere. Happy life, happy wife, happy life. But that's just saying that and then most men fall for that and they start doing anything. When you're the leader, you start letting, without you even thinking about it, a woman start kind of leading. Because what happens is whatever makes her happy, you start doing that to just have her say less to you, or for her to do what you want. And then in the natural order of life, if you're the protector, if you're this guy right here, you're supposed to be out front to be taking on most of the pressure and most of this stuff, and then you kind of got to see the way. So sometimes the decisions you make in life, we're a team, but you got to make sure that it's the right decision. And sometimes that might not make her happy, but it's for the greater good.
That's good.
But if you focus on emotion, then y'all might be taking 2 steps back every time y'all think y'all taking 1 step forward. So that I tell men, stop saying happy wife, happy life, because that's not true, especially if you marry the wrong wife.
Yeah.
And another thing that statement implies is that it implies that only one party's happiness is important.
I was gonna comment. Because, take it away,
I'll tell you, if one person is satisfied and the other one's not, that's a temporary situation. If one person is just working to make sure that the other one is all right and the other person is miserable, you're not going to have a sustainable relationship. And I don't care which way it is. I don't care if the husband is happy and the wife is not, or vice versa. So I 100% agree with him. And where it comes from is that you know, as long as she's satisfied, she's not stressing me out, or she's not me. You know what I'm saying? So as long as she is okay, then I'm gonna be okay because I have peace and quiet. But he's 100% on point about that. That's terrible advice, and I just don't think that it's sustainable. I don't think it's sustainable.
Super temporary, super conditional, super temporary. And it's just very, very one-sided, because on the other end, if you're like happy husband, miserable wife, whatever you can, you know, however you want to flip that, that's just super unfair, because it leaves out your needs as a husband. And so now it's just pouring into her, but then like, what about me? So yeah.
Sad thing is, not before you go on, the sad thing is a lot of men live by that mantra.
That's so bad.
But then those are the men that give advice to younger men about why not to get married. So then it trickles down and it sets us up into a fear factor when we younger. Like, bro, I don't want to be the man who running behind a woman and who miserable every day and he doing everything to make a woman happy, especially at 20, when dudes like 18, 20, 25 hearing. So, bro, you mean tell me you just wake up every morning and do everything to make her happy and you don't have no happiness? Oh, hell no. And they start thinking that's what marriage is. And then we as men not getting championed on marriage and say, that's definitely not what I want. I'm not living my life to just wake up and be somebody like mental or emotional slave.
Yeah.
We'll get into that later. That kind of ties to a question that you got later on about you know, married men who give very poor advice. We'll get into
So on the flip side, what is one piece of advice that you feel like, oh, this was actually some good advice for me. I've taken this into my marriage. I've incorporated it and it served us well. Demario, one piece of good advice that you've got prior to getting married, or even younger Demario being married.
I had to do right when I was going to get married, when I was I started working at a job and the pastor was there, right? And every now and then, you know, I have a me in the church, like I kind of grew up in it, but I'm not like really, I don't go to church every Sunday. So you know what I'm saying? But I love God, right?
Yeah.
But he used to always just like talk to me at lunch about like crazy, like, bro, like, all right, you know what I'm saying? You just having to talk with me. And I'm like, bro, I don't want to be, but he's just like just pouring into me about marriage. I swear, for like 2 years before I like really got with my own wife, right? So and he kept saying, and now that I look back, that's when I be saying purpose and stuff being ordered, because at that point it was aggravating. But now sometimes in my marriage, his counseling rings in my head. Like, oh, I remember he said this. I remember he said that. At that time, I was like, I don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? But I remember he said, stop focusing on how she makes you feel now, and understand that this is a companionship, and then y'all gonna have to keep relearning each other. And once you sign that, you're gonna be in it, because y'all are getting married. Because he was religious, he's a pastor, to serve God's purpose. Like God chose her and you together to come together for a purpose, for his will. So understand, like, by y'all doing that, the benefactor of y'all fulfilling his purpose will be y'all longevity, y'all happiness, y'all fruitfulness, y'all bearing fruit up the tree. It's because the purpose is for y'all to be together to bless other people's lives and to be a blessing to the world so God see it. So when I started looking at marriage like that, like, this is a bigger agenda than just me and her. Like, this ain't just about me being with Jaleesa.
Yeah.
This is about us changing and pouring into other people's lives. Like, we're vessels that's constantly pouring into people. So even sometimes when we can't talk to each other, we have to understand we're together for a reason that we didn't put us together. So I think that kind of held me so much along the time, you know, because in relationships, I can talk, BG understand this, no matter what marriage you done been in, y'all gonna be upset with each other.
Yeah.
And it's always gonna be a reason for you to say, damn, did I make, is this a decision like for the rest of my life? You know what I'm saying? We all human, like, is this it? But then you always got to understand the bigger picture is like, we're together for this, not just for us. And I think that was a good piece of advice to me, because that's what helped me a lot of times.
Yeah. What about you, BG? What is one of the best pieces of advice that you've received, either prior to being married, even early on, or just even to date, that you feel like this has truly helped me in my marriage?
The best piece of advice that I got was from my father, and it was when I was thinking about proposing. And my father asked me, he asked me one question. He said, "Do you love her?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "You better." And then the only piece of advice that I think he's ever given me is he said, "Don't lie." Right? And it sounds like it's like, duh, don't lie, but it's really, really deep. And the way that it's manifested itself is that, you know, all don't lie to her. Be who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Have tough conversations with her and tell the truth about it. That's where he was going with it, because you're either gonna have the tough conversations now or you're gonna have them later.
So good.
Either way, the truth is going to come out.
Yeah.
Don't lie. You know what I'm saying? Tell her, tell your spouse or whoever it is that you with exactly how you feel. And another thing is that I don't know if it's, you get to a point, I don't know if it's a certain age, but life, you figure out that life is so much easier when you're not lying to who it is that you with.
Oh, man.
And to yourself
It
too.
makes
It gets
so
even better
much
when you don't lie to
easier.
you.
When you're not lying and you build up credibility with the person that you with. Like when I adopted that, and when that sunk in on me, now I can go to my wife and be like, "Hey, I'm going over here. I'm going over to, Ronald's house. We're gonna watch the game, blah, 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 blah." I've built up so much credibility by my word that she doesn't question me on it. Right. And it sounds like it's a small thing and it sounds like it should be understood, but it's not.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Your word, like when you lose credibility with your wife, it's really, really hard to gain it back. When you lose trust with the person that you're with, it's really, really hard to get it back. So it was, don't lie and be straight up at all times. When you don't feel like having the conversation, have it anyway and tell the truth. When you don't want to hear her mouth about it, still have the conversation and tell the truth.
Anyway.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're either going to have the rough conversation now or you're going to have it later. I think that was the best piece of advice my father gave me. And, he's been married 44 years this year. So, like I say, it's worked for him. It's definitely worked for me. So, truthfulness and honesty, with the person that you're with. Like I say, it sounds like it should be understood. Yeah. It's simple, but it makes a huge, huge difference.
I'm about to dive a little deeper in that. I was about to look into a different question, but how authentic do you have to be with yourself though, right? Because you think about you saying I need to be like truthful to my mate and all of these other things, right? But like you almost have to be truthful to yourself. So is that something that you learn prior to getting married? After getting married, is this just like your character building? How does that work? Like, is it, or you just realize that if I lie in marriage, it just does not work? Or if you are truthful with yourself and then that just all manifests in different areas, if that question makes sense in any way. Mario, does that make sense?
Well, yeah, it definitely does. And I'm gonna say this: I had a homeboy, and his wife and him have been married for a while, right? They probably like 20 some years, right? And a lot of people look at their marriage and it's conventional as far as like house, home, they got all their children together. But he's a party animal, right? And his wife don't like the party.
Yeah.
And then, but she don't like, she just like, and I know them. So it is not no facade. He don't, you under my foot. It ain't no relationship like that. They actually are partners, but she just don't care. And and it really goes back to what Brian was saying about a credibility. Like, she trusted him on the level of this is who he is.
Period.
Like, he go to the strip club. He hang out with his homeboys. He get drunk. Sometimes you gotta drop him off. But he's not saying, "Oh, I'm going to a party and then end up at the strip club." He's selling everything. Then I asked him. I used to be like, "Bro, you tell her everything." Before I was, just asking questions. He said, "Bro, I plan on being with her for the rest of my life." for the
Authenticity.
rest of my life.
Yeah.
I cannot be somebody I'm not. If she gonna leave me for being who I am, she need to leave me now.
Yeah.
So every day I gotta show her who I am because she has to make a decision every day to be with who I am.
Yeah.
I can't keep it. So flaws and all, I have to show her that to give her the opportunity to say, this is what I'm signing up for.
Yeah.
And he said that to me, and he gave me a lot of bad advice. Now, don't get me wrong, but that one advice right there that he gave me right there, and he didn't even know because he was drunk at the time. I was like, bro, that's real. Like, that's why. And then go back to what Brian said. Like, you have to be authentically yourself.
Yeah, because you can't fake that, right?
It make it easier, though. It make it easier. You don't have to remember a line.
Yeah.
Like, manipulate. You can just go through life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and what ends up happening is that you sell this person a bill of goods and you bring this representative on who you think that they want you to be, or who you think that she wants you to be as a person.
Yeah.
And then y'all get down the road, and then the real you comes out, and now they like, who is this?
Who is this? You didn't
They're
show
like,
up.
who is this?
Yeah.
And you like to drink and smoke, but you didn't find that out until years down the line.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's so real.
So it's very important that you be honest with yourself and you be honest with them about who you are. But your question about character building, I think, throughout the journey of being in a relationship, I mean, just being in a marriage itself, I think one of the benefits is that you're going to learn a whole lot about yourself, right? And marriage, I mean, especially if you stay in it, I mean, it can definitely help build your character, right? Because one thing I found out about marriage is the opposite of selfishness. It's the opposite of that. It's about sacrifice and putting other people before yourself. So when you're in a situation like that, it has no choice but to change you. It has no choice, like, well, if you're going to stay in it, right? If it's going to be sustainable, like marriage, like the very nature of it, it's supposed, I think it's supposed to change you, and it's supposed to help you get rid of old mindsets. You can't go into marriage and sustain a marriage with single mindsets. It's going to get rid of that, and it's going to develop you as you keep going. And it's a never ending thing. Like, I've been married 7 years. I definitely don't have it all figured out. I'm still learning. I'm still evolving. You talk to my father. He's been married for 44 years. He'll tell you right now, he'll be the first one to tell you that he doesn't have it all figured out. He's still learning. He's still evolving because, you'll always go through different phases.
Yeah.
The marriage at 3 years is going to be different than the marriage at 7 years, because it's going to be marriage different than the marriage at 10, 15, 20, so on, because you're going to change and they're going to change and situations going to change and life is going to happen. So I think it's kind of a process as you're in it, it's going to build your character up.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
So, I think prior to us getting on this live, we were talking slightly about the differences of how women view marriage versus how men, right, view marriage. Is there a vast difference of how we look at marriage? Are we kind of on the same track, but maybe we need to change verbiage, or like, or we just completely out of space? One person over here, one person over there. Does how women view marriage and how men view marriage, is it aligned or completely not at all? BG.
I don't think it's I don't think it's aligned. I don't think it's aligned. I mean, because our roles are so different. Going back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier, we're talking to married men, how it's sold. I ain't gonna say sold, because I've never had a man try to sell me on marriage, but how
Demario did. We'll talk.
How it's presented to you as a man is that you're walking into a big responsibility.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You're walking into weight bearing, carrying a lot of weight. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be responsible for her. You're going to be responsible for the house. You're going to be responsible for the kids. You're going to be responsible for the money. Like, it's presented to you as weight and responsibility that you're gonna have to carry. And thing about it is, that's not wrong. I mean, it's not wrong. I have 2 kids. I mean, Mario, he has kids. I mean, you're gonna feel the weight, and it is responsibility, and it is a self-sacrificing thing that you're about to walk into. They're not wrong. It's just that answer is not wrong. I think it's incomplete, right? I don't think marriage is just this big responsibility. I mean, you're supposed to be in it to enjoy it. You're supposed to be in. You're supposed to at least you want to be in it, right? But with men, that's not how it's presented to you. And the problem that I had, one of the mistakes that I can say I made before I got married, is that I talked to a whole lot of married men. And talking to married men, well, the wrong married men, can really dissuade you from wanting to do it, because people have a tendency to tell you information or give you advice based off of their own negative perspective. Right? Their own negative perspective and their own negative set of experiences. Like I said, especially men, especially older married men. Like I say, Mario, he had men actually encourage him to want to get married. I've never had a man tell me don't do it, but nobody, I can't remember anybody ever been like, hey, yeah, you should go do that. I've never had tell me, yeah, go do that, right? But like I say, the way it's sold to women is totally different. They don't sell them on the responsibility part. They sell them on the security part. Oh, you're going to be in a relationship and it's going to be great. And you're going to have security and you're going to have that. It's not sold to us different. So that's why I don't think, we're aligned on it.
Mario?
I agree. I think it comes from like this. I believe women are sold as, now this begins my happily ever after. And I believe men are sold on, now all the fun stops and here comes all the work. Because a man because up until that point, a man, most of the time when a man is right before he's getting married, most of the time, he's probably at a pinnacle of like fun. He's in that area of he probably got him a little money, whatever that might be. He's moving and grooving. He's an adult, and he's at the age. And then when you hear marriage, all you hear is like Brian said, when you talk to married men, all they tell you is all the stuff that you can't do.
Stop, Brody.
Like you can't come home late, you can't do this, and then every time they say something, it seems like the stuff that you're doing. So it seems like, oh well, now I want to sign up.
It's geared towards me.
Right, but if you talk to a woman, you hear, now, I got my man. So now I'm Cinderella. Now we get to go start building a house, having kids, and now my life begins. The family trips, the pictures, the all that. See, all that's envisioning a woman. So when marriage to them, not only I got my man, but I'm one of the women who actually won. I actually did it.
I got him. I got him forever.
I did it. I don't know too many men who fear proposing to a woman. I'm saying, now we're talking about a man. I don't know too many men who like, man, what if I don't get married? Oh man, I don't know men that have that fear.
Wait,
of just
time out. Stop.
Yeah.
That's a totally different mind shift.
Right.
So for us, we're thinking, when am I going to find him? And even if I find him, will he propose to me? Y'all not looking at that at all. You're like, I already know if I propose to Trina, she all in? That's not y'all.
No, and it's because we're the askers. See, at the end of the day, I always tell people the pendulum swings when you get to around a certain age. Like I hate to put ages on stuff, but just to paint a demographic. Yeah. When a woman get around 30, she start really looking into marriage, right? Yeah. It's like her life starts like, man, okay, because women have children, so they start thinking, man, if I want another child, I'm getting kind of old. I done obtained this, right? So they start getting into that. But when a man is 30, he's just getting to his groove of like really finding himself, right? So then now, when a man from 30 on down has been doing everything he can to get a woman because he's been chasing the coochie. Excuse me, a better word. Like sex. He's been chasing that. But when he get 30, it becomes plentiful. Because then a woman is chasing what? Commitment. But see, a man can only get coochie when a woman grants it to him. And a woman can only get commitment when a man gets into him. So then the man becomes in charge. So then the man becomes the person who like, shit, nah, the same women who I used to have to, shit, now I go to the bar and I have everything I need to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
Every woman I meet want to be married. Every woman I meet looking for a husband. I'm in charge. Shit. Not the men who felt a little, I don't know, when they was 20, 21.
They get to 30, they like, what it is. Who want a ring? I got a ring. What up?
And most men, that's the most opportunity they ever had to have any woman they want. So now you're asking a man at the height of his player career to say, I'm straight and I'm going to be with this one woman for the rest of my life. And I think if women understood that ask in that moment on how, like Brian said, how we were getting trained and talked to coming up, that's the scariest thing in the world to hear. Cut all my fun that I've been working so hard for to be with one woman, and every man I know is telling me how bad it is.
Oh my God.
And not only that, is that like I said, back to the responsibility factor, is that when you look at other marriages and you look at other men who are in marriages and all of those things that it entails and things that you have to do, a lot of times, if you're talking to that person that he's describing, somebody, you're 30, you're just, you're getting into it. As a man, you got a job, you done got a couple of raises, you got your own place, you got a whip, you got, you just have a whole bunch of things going for you. And, then you get in marriages and, picking up additional responsibilities is not something that's going to be attractive to you.
That's not the sexy. That's not the sexy.
Life. I mean, no man goes around and I'm talking about real life things. No man goes around and say, "Oh, I can't wait to work 2 jobs because we have money and this day. I can't wait to pay this daycare bill and everybody look at me so we can, when things go bad, I can't wait to bear all this weight." No man thinks like that.
And then on the flip side, we looking like, look at my man, look at all the weight he carrying. Look how amazing it looks. Look how, like, we think totally different. Totally different. Yeah. For us, it's sexy. It's like, oh my, look, okay. What's your little 2 jobs working at, Home Depot and your second job? Like, for us, we thinking it's bossy. And for y'all, it's
because because not to cut you off, because most of our friends who not married are still having a ball. So now, like Brian said, now we understand for the greater good because we're men. This is what we got to do. Yeah. But while we at our second job, because we have social media, and I'm like, but what? Nah, hey, bro, I'm gonna go to the club. Now I'm riding up, and then now you hearing all the stories and all this, and you like, bro, is it? That's why I always tell women, a man have to go through. A man I take my hat off. If you got married in your 20s, your early 30s. You a hell of a man. I talked to my
females too, by the way. Females too.
I always say, bro, I asked him to this day, and I know his wife was made for him. I said, when he was finna get married to her, they was 18. I said, bro, what the hell? I said, what? I understand. This is the best woman. Listen, this is the best woman he ever had, and the best thing that ever happened to him. This is my brother. Yeah. She single-handedly saved his life. He was down to mentor. His road was crazy. Like, she helped him see the vision. Like, want to be better, right? And I still was like, bro, what the hell? What is you seeing right now that make you say, like Brian said, you want to pay all the bills, you want to do this, you want to not go to the club? Like, that was just crazy to see. Yeah. But they done been through up and down, and they still there. But I was like, bro, there's just no way I could sign up for that at that age to say this is what I want, to see the value in it at that age.
Yeah. It definitely takes some maturity. And I think for women too, I don't know if we're as open about it, but it definitely takes some maturity to be able to say, I'm willing to commit to a man and all of these other things that he need and we need. We see the white picket fence and the kids and all that, but I don't think we know anywhere near of like how important it is to support a man through this process. That just takes years of time and experience. What are some common misconceptions that y'all had about marriage, BG? Aside from the happy wife, happy life, what are like some common misconceptions that you thought, like, once I get married, I'm good. And it didn't happen.
Well, I think one big misconception is that when you get married, like it's gonna collar that dog that's in you. And that's definitely not the truth. I thought that as a younger man that, you know, it was gonna collar that
dog. Keep talking. I'm gonna let my dog out. He's doing a lot. I'm listening. Go ahead.
I thought it was gonna, at least, collar that dog. But, the older that I got, the more it's like that dog is still in you. You just gotta put him up. You know what I'm saying? You just gotta put him up. And, like I said, as I got older, I was just like, you're still the same person. There's nothing magical about the ceremony. When you say I do and y'all kiss and you go to there's nothing magical about that ceremony. You're still you. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So, you're going to be exactly who you are before and after the marriage. So I would say, I thought that, through the natural course of being married, you would just, turn to a different person, but it's work to turn into that different person. It's work to, change that mindset. You're going to be exactly who you are. And I would say that to somebody who's thinking about getting married. If you're looking at somebody else, like that person right there, if they're bad with money, when you're dating them, they're going to be bad with money when you marry them. Nothing's going to change just because you marry them.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. Be preaching.
Yeah, I think to echo him, because that was my answer, that something was gonna change. Anything was gonna change. Me and my wife is crazy. We got married. She like, you feel different? I said, yeah, I feel the same. Cause at the end of the day, like I already knew I loved you. I already knew like it's nothing like, you know what I'm saying? This was just a format to make it official to people, you know what I'm saying? But my feelings didn't like grow over. It didn't become like I was already a protector, a provider. Like I was already that stuff for you. So and then in our marriage, we had our baby was born right before marriage. So I had already seen what kind of mom you like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so it's nothing, it wasn't like we got married, we didn't have kids, so I need to see what kind of mom you I knew who you are. So nothing magically changed. And the biggest thing BG said is, and I tell my homeboys just all the time, don't think because you walk across that aisle or walk to the aisle or stand up at the aisle, however you want to say it, that automatically some kind of super saiyan power comes on you, and that when women walk by who fine, you're gonna be like, and you just keep not look.
I'm married. I'm not attracted to anybody else. I don't see her. I don't. DMs ain't the same. Everything's different. It's not how it works.
You just understand the severity of you acting on it. That's the only thing that changes. You just understand the severity of what happens if you act on it.
Yeah,
that's what changes. The ramifications, or if you act on this is going to happen. It could be a big fallout.
You got to lose.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And that's the only thing. But the want and all that kind of stuff. Oh no, like BG said, he did it. He said it a good way. You got to learn. All the thing you got to do is learn how to tame that dog. Because if you a dog, you a dog. Like you know what I'm saying? Like a trained dog will still bite you. Like right now, your dog, okay, you can let it out the cage, but
you hear him acting. He has by the way, he had surgery and he's doing a lot. So,
but
sorry.
You hear him? He's doing a lot. So he had surgery. He wanted to get out, but he can't walk. So you'll hear him in the back. But if I touch that leg that he had surgery on, I'm not gonna tell you he may not bite me.
Right, because it's who he is. Like, you know, and I always tell people, you know, you got two different kind of men. So we always like dance around this.
Yeah.
We got men who really had women before they got married, and we got dudes who they was all right out there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I always say that transition gonna be different too, depending on who you talk to. Because some dudes, like, you ain't really had that many women anyway. Let's just be realistic. So you your dog was on the porch a long time ago and was whispering. But then you got some dudes who was out here, who was who got a gold jacket when they got married, because they put in all the yards and broke records. Now, see that right there, there's gonna be a lot more discipline needed to become the man who you want to be in your side, because you have obtained a lot of stuff. You know, like you spent most of your life doing and learning tricks to get you in a position with women that was beneficial of you. But then, like BG said, once you get to be married and you start saying it's not about me, but it's about us, and it's about compromise, then you're gonna have to learn how to tame that down. Because you spend a lot of life learning how to get women to do what you want. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's two different kind of men though. So I always tell women, a lot of men, every man say they get a lot of women. Every man say that, right?
No matter what. No matter what.
Me and BG go out. You know, we got homeboys. We know, like, bro, he don't get that many women. So like him getting married, that wasn't a hard transition for him. He might have went months without having some. Like, you know what I'm saying?
It levels to it.
Yeah. So I always tell women, when you be talking to your friends who are males, make sure they're getting you're understanding that the dude who giving you advice is the kind of dude that you want to date. Because you might be getting advice from a dude who is nothing like the dude you want to date. And everything he's saying to you is coming from a place that has nothing to do with how I live my life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and a lot of times you get that you might want a masculine, protective man, but then your friend is not, or vice versa. But then you learning from a man who is, you can't even use his techniques because his techniques don't apply to your life.
Yeah.
So, go ahead. That was all subject. Sorry.
No, you good. So we gonna use our cards. We gonna do the yup. So we got a little game that we gonna play. It's my first time playing a little game. I'm gonna give y'all some marriage quotes, and if you agree with it, you're gonna hold up your card that says yup. If you don't agree with the quote, you're gonna say, man, hell no. Okay, we good? Because happy wife, happy life was on there, but we already know that's some bullshit. No, yes.
Oh yeah, no.
No problem. We'll just let's just try this out. Happy wife, happy life. Okay. What you don't heal, marriage will reveal. Marriage, sometimes soulmates, other times cellmates.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good one.
Okay. This is we already talked about this earlier, but marry someone who loves you more than you love them. Your spouse will complete you. The first year of marriage is the absolute hardest.
Not for me.
Yeah, not for me either. I don't. But you know, not to stop your question, that was one of the biggest misconceptions too. Everybody said that to me, and I didn't see that at all. I ain't gonna lie to you. I ain't, it went by so fast. We was already at 2.
Yeah.
Nah,
not for you
year
either.
one, we still liked each other. We were still kicking it, and so year one flew by for us.
Flew by.
Bye. No matter what, you are to stay married. Marriage is good for a couple of years, and then you become like brothers and sisters.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that. I'm gonna say
you gonna hold both of them up.
Yeah, I don't been married long enough to say that we've been. Maybe Brian can talk to that we've been brothers and sisters. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But I heard people say that though, who've been married for a long period of time.
Yeah.
So,
what's the context in behind that statement?
I don't have none of that. That's just a quote. Is it yup or no? I don't know. We ain't got time to dig into it.
Yeah, no, that's my wife. That is not my sister.
Okay. And the last one is never go to bed mad.
I try not to, but I will give that for advice, but it's definitely not possible.
BG?
If you can, I should have,
Yeah.
Wait, you want to put something else on there? Hold on, let me write. If I can. You can't be adding to the cards.
Because you're not going to be able to work every issue out.
Yeah.
Right. This ain't TV where you can work everything out in 30 minutes and at the end everybody gonna be all right. Some issues are deep rooted. Sometimes y'all have written things that are really, really bad and deep rooted issues, and everything ain't gonna get sorted out in a day. So if you can, that's great. But the odds of you being able to do that consistently,
So it's definitely a principle that we should be incorporating. If even if you're not able to enact it in everyday situations, for the most part, we should at least be thinking, I don't want BG to go to bed mad. I don't want Mario to go to bed. Like, we should at least be having that in our forefront.
I think it points to the need. I mean, and it's cliche, but the reason why it's cliche is because it's true. It's the need for communication.
Yes.
It's the need to talk, open up, and communicate with the person that you're with, because if you don't, you're gonna pay the price later on.
Yeah, it doesn't go away, right?
It's a cliche, but it's a cliche because it's true.
Yeah.
I think a lot of marriages are in trouble or in, not because of what you say, but because of what you're not saying. So, I think it's just, I think that it just points to the importance of communication.
I agree 1,000%. I think that just saying don't go to sleep on unresolved issues. And I think if your intention
bigger than that
to get understanding, like BG said, you want to, you can't always get to it, but that should be communication. Effective communication should be your goal. So you should be trying to not ever walk away from any dispute without an understanding.
The way I handle things, and I'm not saying that I'm right. I'm just saying that the way I handle things is that if me and my wife have a problem, I like to let my emotions calm down. I don't like to talk about things when I'm highly emotional.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or, because I don't want to yell. I want to actually get my point across, with emotions aside.
Definitely.
I don't want to talk in my anger and talk in my hurt and just end up saying just a bunch of stuff. I want to communicate about what it is that I'm angry about and, what it is that I'm actually feeling, so we can actually get to a resolution. I actually want a resolution. I don't want to just yell and hurt your feelings. Like, I'm not interested in that.
Yeah.
So, and you may not be able to do that today.
Yeah, that may be a day or two later.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
But I rather talk when I'm not as emotional, when I'm not angry. I don't want to talk out of, because then you just, you just yelling. I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I had to learn. See, I'm a person, I want to talk about everything, right? And I want to talk about it. Let's get to understanding. Let's see. I don't mind saying I'm wrong. Like, my wife would tell you, like, communication is like my strong point, right? But then I had to understand that my wife is like the smartest person in the world, right? To me. And she's articulate as hell. And she's very well spoken in public settings.
Yeah.
But then when me and her get behind closed doors, when the emotions come out, so since I've seen all of that, I'm thinking, well, it's easy for us to just communicate because we love each other and it's emotions. And I had to learn, like, don't hold her to her work ethics, to her emotional display, because emotionally, my wife get like choked up and then she kind of like processes her emotions. And in the beginning of our relationship, I used to be like, you can talk to everybody else. Like, you need to like tell me how you feel. Yeah. But I had to understand, like, that's her thing that I have to have mercy on and be patient with, because her getting her emotions out take a little longer than telling somebody about a marketing scheme or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And I could see how, if you don't understand and learning your partner, you would take stuff that they do well in the world and try to bring it into that world, and understanding, like, I do that, but when it's with you, it gets to another level. And I can't do it like that. So I have to be patient. So I had to learn that too. Like, we can't talk about it right now, not because I don't want to, but because you can. And it was hard for me to walk away at some points, be like, oh, let's just talk about it. And she was like, no, I can't.
No, it's a total process. And I feel like I relate to Jaleesa, right? So corporate settings, even with my team, I'm able to articulate myself. But when it comes to romantically, those feelings is completely different. And you want to tread a little bit lightly. I want to make sure that what I'm saying is really what I mean. And they're not paying me to do this. This is something really that I'm invested in, right? So I think it's different. So the fact that you're able to even recognize that there's a different side to us corporately, and there's a different side to us romantically, and it's different, and it takes patience and pulling it out, because just so I can communicate on the call with y'all, it may be different romantically, right? So being able to know, but I think it boils down to, do you know your person? Right. Do you know your partner? How does that look for them?
Right. I agree. And I think you go back to, are you willing to, like, it's that compromise?
Yeah, for
Like,
sure.
like right now she work on and she compromised with me on
Yeah.
my flaws. So me acknowledging that, don't beat her down for that.
Yeah.
She's still superwoman, but this is the niche in her cake.
Yeah.
So, and understand that, and then walk into it saying, oh, and recognize it, because I got to be cognizant of it, because I have to see it, because she might not be able to express that it's getting overwhelming. So
Yeah.
when, like you said about the tone, when I see like, oh, this is getting overwhelming for you, let me back up, and
Yeah.
then I'm okay with coming back. And then most of the time now I learned she come back to me and was
Yeah.
like, all right, see what you were saying earlier now, and then, you know what I'm saying? But in the beginning, I was like, I just couldn't understand how you can talk to everybody else and you
Yeah.
love me, but then you can't just like tell me how you feel. Like, that's
Yeah.
how you feel. Like,
Yeah.
you're feeling it right now. You know that, right? Like, you can't just say what you're feeling. Like, that just, I couldn't compute that.
Yeah. Miles Monroe always said he passed, and I think in 2014, him and his wife had a plane crash, but he's a Bohemian pastor and all these other things. He's amazing.
I know him.
Amazing.
Yeah, he
Amazing.
talked about how
Amazing.
in marriage as a man that when you marry a woman, you get a very unfinished version of her. And it's your job to help cultivate that. And so, like what you're saying, she wasn't offended, no matter how polished she looks, how much she looked amazing in the resume, right? She still had childhood trauma. She still had communication issues romantically. She still had whatever, right? So it's the man's job, which is still a very heavy burden and a heavy cross to bear, but you won't ever get a finished version of a woman. It's your job to help try to at least cultivate that a little bit.
I think that's my protection. That's a part of protection that men
Yeah.
don't look at when they say that word, provide, protect. Like, that's
Yeah.
me protecting her and her inner, because I know that's something that she feels bad at. Like, she
Yeah.
feels like, oh, I want to do this. I'm just so, and me not making her feel the worst at those times
Yeah.
is protecting her and allowing her to grow. And I
Yeah.
think, words matter. So I think that's how I look at it. It's a challenge. Like, Demario, you're a protector, right? So at this point right here, you be better. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I'm big on how could I have been better at this? Like, what can I have done this? I focus on me. Like, what do I need to do here? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I can't,
Yeah.
and that's okay. But I always looking at like, yeah, you shouldn't have said, yeah, you should. You know what I'm saying? Just learn.
Yeah. BG, before we go, we gotta go, y'all. I already knew. I told y'all before we jumped on this live, I probably got like 12 more questions I can't ask, right? Our time is expired, but BG, and I'll go to you next, Mario. BG, talk to the men that are not married, that feel like their back is a little bit against the clock, like they're ready to get married. What would you tell them some of the things that they could work on prior to finding her?
What I would tell a young man who is, thinking about getting married is, first off, quit looking at that clock. Ignore that clock. Everybody gets to where they're supposed to be at a certain time.
Yes.
For some people, it may be 20. For some people, it may be 30. Like, I got married when I was, 15, so 33. So I got
Not to carry the one.
Yeah. I got married when I was 3, right? Which,
Yeah.
Later than a lot of people do it. But what I would say is that the best thing that you can do for yourself and the best thing that you can do for your partner is to come to the relationship as the best version of yourself. That's the best thing that you can do for the relationship. The one thing that I would do is that I would get rid of, at least start to work on all of the trauma that I had. Get over all of the things that I'm angry about. Get rid of all of the things that hurt my feelings. Get all the things that, are just that would be toxic. I would make sure that I show up to the relationship as the best version of myself that I possibly can be, because when I'm the best version of myself, I'm
Yeah.
healthy, and then I can be healthy for her.
So good.
Right. And if I, that way I don't carry my trauma and all the things that I'm angry about and all the
Yeah.
things I'm bitter about and all the things that I'm hurt about. I think a lot of men carry a lot of bitterness and a lot of hurt into a relationship. And then when you carry all of that baggage into it, then you wonder why, you know, the relationship is going the way that it's going. So what I would tell you know, a younger man is that make sure that, you know, if you have some things that you're struggling with, work on that before you bring that to her.
That's so good.
You know, work on yourself before you come to a marriage, because if you're not happy, another person is not going to make you happy.
Talk
If
to him.
you're miserable, you marry you and you get married, it's going to be two miserable people.
Oh, talk to him.
So the best thing that I would say is to come to the relationship as the best version of yourself. And, you know, just to wrap up, you know, like I said, that's why I appreciate, you know, platforms like this, to where we can have these types of conversations. I think that marriage is under attack. I think that our relationships as Black men and Black women are under attack. You know, you don't see other races getting online and talk about how each other ain't worth a damn. You don't see anybody else doing that. And I think there's a lot of divisive conversation out there. So that's why I like platforms like this, and I appreciate it. So that's what I would tell, you know, a younger man.
That's so good. Demario, what would you tell a younger male that looks just like you, similar to you, doesn't even matter? What would you tell them that prior to getting married, or back is against the wall, time is against the wall, what sort of advice would you give to them?
Two things. Be intentional, and don't be unrealistic. A lot of times I hear people put unrealistic expectations on marriage that they don't apply to their real life, right? Like they say, I'm not going to be in no marriage, and then go there and I don't be happy, but then they go to a job every day and they feel undervalued and happy and not happy, and they never leave, and they overqualified for it.
Yeah.
They drive a car every day they hate. They don't drive a bike. Like, you know what I'm saying? They hate themselves. They don't go to the gym. So it's like, but when it comes to marriage, we put this big old stigma on it. Got to be this perfect thing that has to magically exist with no flaws for you to even have the audacity to walk into it or think about it. And that's just like what BG said, but deeper than that, it's the devil's trick of your mind for you not to find your purpose, because marriage is under attack so much because of the fact that it's so powerful.
Yeah.
Because when two people are joined, then I am in the midst. So automatically, every day, me and my wife are joined, that we married. So God is automatically there. He's automatically ordering our steps. So then the devil know the best thing for us to do is to kill it, is to separate y'all.
Yeah.
Isolation. The first thing you do in jail is they isolate you from everything. It's to conform you to what they want you to be. And I think that if people really, I would tell people, don't take advice from people. Be intentional and be the person you want to be married to. Like, understand, like, me and my wife, you wake up every day, be the best version of you, and I'm gonna wake up every day and be
Where
the
the
best
sign,
version
BG? Put the yup up, BG. Yup. No, where the sign at?
That boy said a mouthful right there.
That's it. Be who you want to be with.
Right.
If
Then
you
be the
don't
best
like
version.
you, why you think somebody else gonna like you?
And be real. Like, every day, me and my wife, I tell her this: it's not your job to make me happy, right? It's your job every day to work up and be the best you can be. And if I wake up every day and be the best me I can be, then guess what? Neither one of us will feel slighted in any bit. Because you're amazing, I'm amazing. So guess what's gonna happen? Both of us gonna be getting amazing people. So if you just focus on that, but see, if we go back to what we said, all the pressure that people put on marriage is only to disturb you and to stop you from doing it. Because I tell people so much. If I had known, honestly, this what marriage is, the good, the bad, and the ugly, I'd have been did it. I honestly, and I'm saying I would have been intentional on wanting it, wanting it. I wasn't ready for it back then, but I'd have been like, just like I wanted the car, just like I wanted a good job, just like I wanted that. I think people put marriage to the back burner when honestly that's the focal point of growth. Like we want to get a job first, we want to get this first, we want to get that first. But then after we get all of that, I guess we'll get married.
Yeah.
And then you get married off of stuff like we a power couple. I'm so tired of people saying that
we got to do a live on power couples. What does that even look like?
You know what I'm saying? Because you're looking at materialistic stuff.
What'd you say?
Right.
Buzz.
It's just a buzzword.
It's buzz.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The power is in the love, in the compromise. Like you looking at materialistic stuff saying, oh, they make this, I make this, we got this, we got this, we gonna come together. But y'all could be unequally yoked emotionally. And so you'll be good for TV and horrible in real life.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people don't understand it.
They said that Whitney and Bobby Brown was a power couple.
Right.
And if I could add one more thing, and I know our time is up.
Yep, because I got one more question for y'all too that you have to answer before we get off. So make it quick, BG.
Quit looking at social media and quit making people that you don't know couples goals. You have no idea what's going on in their house. You have no idea who that person is. Like looking at these apps, people that app is a highlight reel. People put their highlight reels up there, and just because some more of the best information that my father ever gave me, he said, "Son, don't ever look at somebody else and what you think they have and be jealous, because things are not always what they seem to be." And that is 100% correct. And that's double, triple true for marriage. But go ahead.
Yeah,
that's true. I agree.
Last question, because our time's been up, but thank you guys. Demario, what is one thing that you absolutely love about yourself? There's a question I ask everyone before we get in. And I'm gonna tell you why. I don't think that we pour into ourselves enough. I think we're our worst critics and we don't give ourselves enough credit. So what is one thing that you like, listen, this is me, it's amazing. What do you love about yourself? One thing.
My ability to give people mercy and see and want to see them for who they really are. Like I think like everybody when they meet me, they see like I want to. I understand we are not perfect.
Yeah.
So as a friend, I'm gonna be constantly learning you, so I could be assistance to your life.
Yeah.
So I think that in life, I thought that was just a ability that everybody had, and once they loved you, they just displayed it. But now I see from me getting older and my friends talking to me, my wife talking to me and saying like, you take it upon yourself to learn people, to be an asset to their life.
Yeah.
And I think that if more people had that, because then you wouldn't be getting all this bad advice, because I can give advice to somebody and it has nothing to do with my life. It actually has something to do with what I see or what I think is going to be beneficial for you wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
And I think that's a good quality to have.
It is. It's great. BG, what's one thing that you absolutely love about you?
One thing that I say that I really like about myself is that I believe that I'm a very loyal friend. I have a small group of friends, and they are, I consider myself very blessed and very grateful for the fact that I have a group of friends. I have a group of brothers that I've been cool with, that for the last, I'm 40 now, I would say for the last at least 25 years. And we've seen each other at our best and we've seen each other at our worst. Yeah. And I don't take it for granted. I don't take them for granted. They're an amazing group of guys. And, you know, I think that I'm a very good friend and I'm truly not judgmental. I see the imperfections in myself to a point to where I don't judge other people. Like, truly don't judge other people, and I give people the benefit of the doubt, and I try to meet people where they are and understand not only what somebody does, but why somebody does it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I really try to understand people, and I can really get along with people. Kind of like Mario, I try to, I try to meet people where they are. So I think I do a good job of that. And to the people that I'm close to, I believe that I'm very loyal. If you have a friend, if you have me as a friend, you have a friend.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there good. I'm gonna be there when it's bad.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about myself.
Yeah. It's awesome, man.
What's yours? I know I ain't the host, but
Oh, what's mine?
yeah.
What's one thing I absolutely love about myself? I love my ability to influence people. I don't think a lot of people have that quality. And even if they do, they use it to an abuse. And so I think that I love the fact that I'm able to inspire people and motivate people for better. And not everyone has that quality. And I think it's taken me a very, very long time. I used to think used to water myself down as arrogant as this and that. But I do. I mean, I do it in corporate. I lead a team of workers' comp adjusters. They follow me. They love me. And so I think it's just the ability to just inspire people to their best selves. And so, yeah, thank you for asking me that.
Hey, no problem. No.
It's interesting because I struggle to answer that. Now I ask y'all that all the time. So thank you for that.
It has to be a part 2 to this. There are a lot of questions.
I have so many more questions
that need to be answered.
Yeah.
What'd you say? What'd you say?
There's a lot of questions that we didn't get to that definitely need to be answered.
So here's the thing. I don't even have my phone. Y'all know every live that I've ever done. I'm looking through my phone. That's how much I'm in tune with this conversation. Brody's being nuts, but I'm glad that I wasn't distracted. So I'll get to the questions. We can get to them, but this was incredibly powerful. And thank you guys for just sharing your time with me. Sundays is about family, and I get it. And you both, when I said let's do this conversation, you both were very much like, give me a date, give me the time, didn't ask any questions, send me pictures. Y'all sent me some jail pictures at first, and y'all sent me some club pictures. It was a lot. Okay. It was a lot. now I'm in my bed. Like, it's a lot going on in this. I'm literally in my bedroom right now. But this is how authentic we can be. And thank you guys for sharing the space. BG, we gotta get together, Mario. Let's do this again. Chris was like, I gotta jump on y'all. I don't know what I'm talking about. Yeah. I'll get on y'all platforms.
Yeah, yeah, we definitely gonna. I'll definitely on one podcast we gonna have. We talking about, like, we definitely got something up that I'm definitely gonna invite BG on. And
please do.
Yeah, we bring women on our show from time to time, all the time. And I think let me tell you, your friend Jaleesa has been your champion for the whole time. She has been. Why haven't y'all had my friend on? Every time we get off, she's yelling at me of some sort to have you on. And I've been trying to make sure that because with shows, you got to make sure that the person, you put them in the best position to give the best point of themselves. You know what I'm saying? So when it happens, it's going to happen, because we bring women on from time to time. You watch our show, to get a woman's perspective, so we definitely going to be working together.
Yes, I will be there, BG. Thank you for your time. Mario, thank you for the time. I love you guys. We'll do the replay. I put it on YouTube. We will talk soon. Thank you so much, y'all. Have a good Sunday.
All right.
Bye.